All right, Coach. Opening loss to Midland Lee to open up district. Go ahead and just talk about it. What do we need to get better at?
Well, just overall, everything really. There's always continuous improvement in, our play. I told the guys everybody needs to be a guy on the rise, improving in an area or two all the time. I think you can't be stagnant or take any steps back. You got to be a guy that's on the rise, and we need that consistently throughout our team. And this league is a 48-minute fist fight from the jump, and that was a physical game that was back and forth there for a long time, and we just kind of got worn down a little bit there, especially in the fourth quarter. We certainly did a lot of good things in the game against the class of our district for the last decade or so. That team has won championships in this league many times. So getting right against them, and it was kind of two heavyweight fighters right there, back and forth, and here we go. And it was punch and punch and punch, and I like the way that it was going. I wish we'd have made some more stops there in the first half and kind of created a little separation. We were scoring and moving the ball well, and then there during the second half, I think we just wore down a little bit. They were big and physical, and we gave it all we had, but just kind of came up a little short.
Coach, we kind of spoke about it a few minutes ago, but just relive the crowd, just relive kind of the atmosphere, kind of tell me what you thought, your opinions on just kind of how this town really showed up to open.
San Angelo has been an amazing place, and that was a great example of what it looked like, in a snapshot on a Friday night, here in this town, and the stands were full. I mean, I couldn't find an empty seat anywhere, wrapped all the way around, and the orange and blue were out, and it was a great atmosphere, a great crowd. And I think it does. It speaks volumes for, that San Angelo loves, their football. And, they show up, they support, and they're here. And the crowd affected the game, which is a great thing. The student section was amazing over there. I do. I mean, that's why you coach in San Angelo, is you have environments like this. That's why you play. And that's why you're a Bobcat, is to come out and run around in this stadium, which I think is the greatest stadium in Texas high school football, and to put on that orange helmet and represent this town, the right way.
Coach, talked about how you wish there was a couple more stops on defense, but offensively, let's get into that a little bit, because it seems like everyone on the offense has taken another step forward. Another game with more than 40 points. The passing game was absolutely electric. Just talk about the offense.
Yeah, we were. It was good. I love the way we started the game running the football too. I think the game is won at the line of scrimmage, and we came out running the ball. It opened things up for us in the passing game, and I really thought the first half was really good. Solid execution offensively. I think, again, for me, the offensive line sets the tone for how we do things, and they protected well. They run blocking was great. Things were just kind of firing on all cylinders there, and it was. 42 points is a lot. I know there were some other opportunities we could have scored some more, and that's always my challenge. 42 points is a lot, but where can we get better? Even if we put up 42 points, where can we get better? And the offensive group was in here over the weekend, and then at practice this morning, thinking, man, we got to all sharpen this thing up. We could have had 60. That was their mentality, which is what I love. I want them to feel that way. I want us to feel like we should score every time we get the ball. We need to execute a little bit better there, although we had a lot of really good things offensively. And then, of course, kicking game, we got to clean some things up. We gave up a return for a touchdown. They had some pretty elite speed on the field. And then defensively, we will get better. That wasn't our best performance there against a really good offense, but we got to play better there, find a way to get off the field on third down again, and then just tackle. Open field tackling was an issue that showed up during the game, and we got to find ways to get them on the ground.
Coach, when you kind of look at the film again, obviously, I mean, this game was 4 tackles away from being swung 14 points either way, in my opinion. You kind of mentioned the third down stops, you mentioned the tackling, but what have you seen and what can you see on tape that kind of can help you guys where you are mismatched on speed and things like that?
Well, just angles. We got to have eyes and angles. I think that the game is played. You got to have calm eyes defensively. You got to be able to see everything that's out there in front of you. Defensive football, and I told the unit in here over the weekend, number 1, is to recognize the formation. Number 2 is to align properly based on the call that I have versus that formation. And number 3, execute your assignment. So it's 1, 2, 3 every time. And so they gave us, some looks that we had worked on and practiced and seen. But then when your eyes get a little bit bad and that you're in the wrong spot, then you can get that much out of position. I may know my guy right here, but if I'm 5 yards closer to him by the time he catches the ball, then I can tackle him and get him on the ground. If I'm 10 yards away from him when he catches the ball, it's harder to get somebody like that, elite athlete, on the ground. So our eyes put us in some bad positions. Angles were poor, but I think the biggest thing is that when you have vision and coverage, that you see the ball, then I know now I can close the space to my man. And not every play is going to be bang, bang, where I'm right there. But what we got to do a better job of is when they do catch it in the turn, we limit their amount of yards after contact. So that was poor this week. So we got to do a better job of that. And I think it starts with eyes.
Doesn't get any easier this week, Coach. You travel to Odessa to play in historic Ratliff Stadium against Odessa Permian, another team that always challenges for that district championship.
Yeah.
Great storied rivalry between San Angelo Central and Odessa Permian. Talk about the matchup this weekend.
It's going to be another fist fight. I mean, all of these, in this league are that way. And I told the guys, my message to the team is this is a must-win game. This is how I approach it. We got to push everything in and do everything to go win this game. After losing last week, that just makes this game that much more important, for us. I like our matchup here. This is going to be another big physical team that runs the football, and we're going to have to be sound and stout in our run defense. And then, I think that, we need to continue on the success we had offensively and get points on the board there, and then try to strain them a little bit. The teams have not scored a lot of points on Permian, so hopefully we can, have some success there early and then open some things up. But again, it'll be another one of those games where fist fight for 48 minutes, and the game will be won at the line of scrimmage on both the offensive and defensive line.
Coach, if there's anything you can take from last year's film and apply it to this year, obviously it would start with Gavin Black on offense for Permian. What did last week show you that kind of can help set you up for success against someone like that?
Well, when I think about that game a year ago, we missed an extra point, we missed a field goal, and we lost the game by 2. So I think, and I shared that with the team, is that the importance of all of those plays and points. It is the most critical play in the game, and we have to execute every single one of them. And if we kick that extra point and that field goal, then we're not even in the situation like we were in at the end of the game there. So my message is that, yes, this is a great team. We've got some things that we can build on from last week. We got things we got to work on from last week. But the importance in every single little individual battle on every play matters so much to the outcome of the game. And there's always 4 or 5 plays you can look back on, and you may not know it. May be that first third down in the first quarter that ends up being a critical moment that changes the game. So we got to be on point for every scenario and every situation, and I know the team will be. That team it came in here over the weekend and at practice today, and this is a focused group of guys that did not like the outcome and knows they can do better. So I'm hoping to see that on Friday.
Ratliff is not an easy place to play. The Odessa Permian people pack that place out. Have you talked to the guys to get them ready for some of the communication issues that might come with playing at a place like Ratliff?
Yeah, I haven't talked to them about it, yet to this point, but it's they knew it. There were some challenges in communication here, during our game on Friday with that kind of a crowd, but that's what we'll see again as we go to Ratliff, and we'll be prepared for that. We've got multiple ways to be able to communicate things, whenever noise becomes an issue, that we do practice on a regular basis. But I think that creates more excitement, when you go in somewhere and the stadium is full of people wearing the colors that you're not wearing. It is an atmosphere where you just kind of link in, with each of your brothers out there on the field, and all right, here we go. We're in this foxhole, and let's go fight. So our team will be excited to go play. It'll be a great environment, like it always is there, and should be a great game.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Y'all